you ever heard of the Big Bopper? How about Buddy Holly? What about Richie Valens? How about the song American Pie? Today I will be talking about a plane crash that happened February 3rd, 1959, where three great musicians lost their lives. First, I will be talking about the musicians and their legacy. Second, I will talk about how and why they ended up on the plane. And last, I will talk about the song American Pie. The deaths of music icons Buddy Holly, Richie Valens, and the Big Bopper influenced arguably the greatest song of the 20th century. First, I'm going to talk about the musicians and their legacy. The first musician we'll talk about is the Big Bopper. The Big Bopper's real name was Jerry Giles Perry Richardson Jr., also known as JP. He was born October 24th, 1930 in Sabine Pass, Texas. According to LegacyStaff.com, he was known for two things: his song Chantilly Lace and his death. He was also known as a one-hit wonder for his song Chantilly Lace. The second artist we'll talk about is Buddy Holly. Buddy Holly's real name was Charles Hardin Holly. He was born September 7th, 1936 in Lubbock, Texas. Buddy Holly was an American singer, songwriter, and a pioneer of rock and roll, according to BuddyTheMusical.com. He was considered sophisticated for his time. He was always wearing suits and either bow ties or regular ties. Some of his most famous songs were Every Day, Peggy Sue, and Not Fade Away, and his song That'll Be the Day began to grow in popularity due to his plane crash. The last artist we'll talk about is Richie Valens. Richie Valens' real name was Richard Stephen Valenzuela. He was born May 13th, 1941 in Los Angeles, California. He was an American singer, songwriter, guitarist, and he was also a pioneer of rock and roll. According to Biography.com, some of his most famous songs were Donna, Come On Let's Go, and La Bamba, which was a cover song. His life was later memorialized in the movie La Bamba, which starred Lou Diamond Phillips. Second, we're going to talk about why and how they ended up on the plane. The three of them were on tour that winter, traveling in unheated buses in Iowa. Um, they also had to sleep on those buses after each performance. Buddy Holly was wearing dirty clothes a lot of the time, so according to the Washington Post, Holly chartered a plane on February 3rd to fly from Clear Lake, Iowa to Fargo, North Dakota, hoping he can find a laundromat to wash his clothes. Richie had a fear of planes due to a freak accident at his junior high school when two airplanes collided over the playground, killing and injuring several of his friends. During this time, Richie was very sick and wanted to not sleep on the unheated bus, so he had the final spot on the plane because he had won a coin toss. And last, we'll talk about the Big Bopper. The Big Bopper was only on the plane because of an up-and-coming artist named Waylon Jennings gave up his spot. Third, we're going to talk about the song American Pie and its meaning. American Pie was written by Don McLean and was released in 1971. Don McLean never really said what the song was about, but if you really dissect it, you can tell it's about the plane crash and the three artists. In the song, he talks about his three favorite musicians and some events that were affected by the music industry after the plane crash. The song tackles the evolution of rock and roll through the 60s following that plane crash. McLean explores many of the major events in the 60s, including the moon landings, the rise and fall of Bob Dylan, the dominance of the Beatles, and the death of Janis Joplin. According to BBC.com, some fans say that American Pie was the greatest song of the 20th century. Some important lyrics in the song would be while Sargent played a marching tune, which is talking about the Beatles' album Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club, that is known as the most influential concept album to this day. Another lyric is "A moss grows fat on a Rolling Stone." It's talking about Bob Dylan because of his song "Like a Rolling Stone." It also seemed like Don McLean did not like Bob Dylan. He was always referring to him as a jester throughout the whole song. And the final lyric is when I read about his widowed bride, which is talking about Buddy Holly's wife who was pregnant at the time. So in conclusion, the deaths of the Big Bopper, Buddy Holly, and Richie Valens influenced arguably the greatest song of the 20th century. First, we looked at the musicians and their legacy. Second, we talked about um, how and why they ended up on the plane. And last, we talked about the song of American Pie and its meaning. Because of this event, we'll never know the full potential of these three artists. Thank you.
I really hope so. I'm pretty sure I did.
Yep.